Hi everybody, this is Rune. Welcome to this tutorial where we're going to be drawing a staircase and some other bits and bobs around the outside of our house. Now first, let's actually make a new layer and call it stairs. I'm going to select a color for this layer. I'm going to just select green now. And then I'm going to double click my stairs layer to make it the active layer. Then I'm going to lock all of the other layers that I don't need to mess with right now. Zooming into the plan, you can see that the staircase is right here. Now, I'm going to assume that this line here lines up with the center of this window frame right here. So I'm going to type L for line, and I'm going to draw a line here. Now, we don't have any measurements for our stairs on this drawing, but if I zoom out, and if I go to this one up here, which is one of the sections, it says down here in Danish that the plateaus of the stairs, there's 13 of them, and they have a width of 27 centimeters. So let's go down here, and that means that we know that that width here is 27 centimeters. Instead of copying this line over 13 times, I'm going to use the array command. So I'm going to type array and press enter. And then it wants me to write how many objects I want in the X direction. Now X is this horizontal direction, so that's where I want to put more of my lines. And because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus the one I'm starting with, I'm going to type 14 and press enter. And then Y direction I don't want any, Z direction I don't want any. And then I know the spacing from that drawing over there, so it's 27 centimeters. And then I'll type enter. And now you can see something's wrong. And that's because the 27 centimeters went in the positive X direction. But I actually wanted to go this way. So I'm just going to go in here and click X spacing. Click here, and then I'm going to type minus 27 centimeters instead. So all it does is make it go in the other direction. Press enter, and then you can see it flipped over. And I'm going to press enter again to accept. Okay, now I have my lines. Now we need to draw the railings. Here we have to guess a little bit. I think that if we draw a line from here to here, select it, and then move, then we can probably guess that this is around 100 millimeters. So I'm going to type that and click. Then I'm going to copy. I'm going to move it up here. And yeah, to me it seems that this staircase is probably 975 millimeters. So I'm going to type that and click. And then I'm going to press escape. Now the railings also have a width, so I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to see, yeah, that's probably 50 millimeters. Click. I'm going to do 50 down here as well. And now I want to trim the lines that I don't need. So I'm going to select the inner railing, T for trim, and I'm going to select it like this. Then I'm going to select the outer railing, and I'm going to trim it like this. Escape, and now we have a staircase. Final thing is to draw this arrow here, which actually is just a symbol that's showing that the staircase goes up in this direction. And it's from the middle of this line, so I'm going to click snap middle and line, and I'm going to go from the middle to the middle here, and then I'm going to type line again, and I will make one side of the arrow here, and it's not precise, I'm just drawing it kind of at an angle, and then I will mirror that one along this axis, and now we have an arrow. Perfect. Okay, next step is looking outside the house. So let's just see. First we have this garage door down here, and if I go down here, now you really have to not look at the drawing underneath, but look at the measurements instead. And we just know we need to make a 225 centimeter hole in this wall. So I'm going to double click the walls layer, make a line here, and then copy that line 225 centimeters here. Select those two, T for trim, and then trim these. And then I will select these ones and join it all together. Escape. Now I can see that the door frame is in the middle of this door, and we're just going to draw the same kind of door frame that we did in the house. So let's just copy it from up here. Now if I unlock the doors layer, and I select this one, copy, and then I move it all the way down here, and escape to cancel. Now, as I said, I want to move it to the middle. So I'm going to go from mid to mid here, escape to cancel, and I'm just going to copy it straight down until it hits this wall. If I want to be totally precise, I'm going to turn on my perp, and I'm going to copy and then perp like that. Now I'm going to make the doors layer my active layer and lock the walls. I'm going to make a line here, and I'm going to make a line here. Now we don't have the measurements for the door, but I know that the arc here goes from this side to the middle. So I'll make an arc, and I'll say the center is here, and the start is the mid of this line, and then it goes 90 degrees out. And then I'm going to click L and make a line here. I'll select this, and then I'll type mirror, and I'm going to mirror it from here to here, escape to cancel, and then we have our door. Now on the other side we have this kind of gate opening. Luckily we also have some measurements for that here. So I'm going to go to the walls layer, double click to make it active. I'll make a line, and I'll make it down here, just out into the side. Then I'll move this line 624 centimeters up, and then I'll copy this 288 centimeters. Enter, and then click, escape to cancel. Now it's important that, again, it doesn't line up with the drawing, but we're following the correct measurements. Now I'll select this wall here. I'm going to type E for extend. I'm going to extend these two curves. And then I'm going to type T for trim. Then I'm going to select everything and T for trim and cut a hole here and J for join and escape. Now to draw the actual gate. I'll cheat a bit and I'll put it on the doors layer because it's basically a door. So I'm going to lock the walls layer. And now we're going to guess a little bit because we don't have any measurements for this gate. Now you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of these slats here. And like the stairs, I'm going to use the array command to do that. First I'm going to make one rectangle, and I'm going to assume that it's kind of half the width of the wall. So rectangle from here and then to the middle of the wall, and then let's just say that it's 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters. Select that, move it in here, and now I'll use the array command, so array, and in the X direction, which is the horizontal direction, I want just 1 now, but in the Y, which is up and down, I want 15, and in the Z direction, again 1. And now I can actually customize the Y spacing. So I'm going to just click here, and then I'm going to drag it out, and I'm going to just eyeball it a bit and click here, and then I'll press enter, and now we've copied all of our slats. And of course this one shouldn't be touching the wall, so I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to press move, and again I'm going to eyeball it and move it so that it's distanced from the wall. Escape. Alright, so this isn't really exact, but it looks a lot like what's on the drawing. The last thing we should do is to draw this garage down here, and it has a few measurements, but we're going to have to guess some of it as well. First I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to call it garage, and I'm going to choose a color, and let's just make it violet, so a little lighter than the pink. It's still these doors, so it's nice that it has kind of the same color as the walls. I'm going to double click to make it our active layer, and I'm just going to lock the doors layer again. Now I'll use line to draw a line here. It doesn't matter if it's not all the way over. And then I know that this line here is 276 centimeters away. So I'm going to type 276 centimeters and enter. And then I'm going to click to move it. Now again, it doesn't line up with the drawing, but we're going to make do. Okay, so along this line, I have these columns here, and I know they're distanced in the same way as the window frames up here. Even though we don't have a measurement, I think that these rectangles here are a tiny bit smaller than the window frames. If I try to make a rectangle roughly here and use my distance tool, I can see that it's roughly 10 centimeters. So that's the measurement I'm going to use. I'm going to delete that one. And I'm going to assume that this one touching the wall is half of that. So I'll make a rectangle over here. I'm going to make it 10 centimeters in one direction and 5 centimeters in another direction. And now it came out the wrong direction. I'm actually just going to rotate it 90 degrees down here. Now that was just a half one, but we're going to copy that 150 centimeters over here. And then we know that we should actually scale 1D, this one. So opposite of what we did when we drew the window frames, I'm going to select the base point here and I'm going to type 2. And then I'm going to choose the X direction and double it. So now we have a full column. And with that done, I'm just going to copy that over 150 centimeters. Escape to cancel. And then I'm going to copy that until we come to the end. Because I know that one I want to be half. So I'm going to copy the one from over here. I'm going to copy it over and perp is on. So I'll just click over here and I'll just delete this line here for now. Now let's just quickly draw the wall around and these small doors here. So we can see that we actually need 2 more columns. I'm going to copy one of them and make it hit the wall down here. And then to cheat a little bit, I'm going to make a line here. And then I'm going to copy one of them from the midpoint to this midpoint that's exactly halfway between these two. And now you can see this line goes all the way around. So we'll make a line, start it here, go up here, start it here, go here. We'll join those two and let's guesstimate that the thickness here is 4 centimeters. So I will type offset and type 4 centimeters. Then I'm going to click on the outside side, click, and now we have our shed. Let's just draw the shed doors here. We can see that it's a double door, but one is bigger than the other and they fit between these columns here. The width between the columns I can measure with distance is 140 centimeters. Let's just assume that the big door here is 90 centimeters and the small one is 50. So I'll make a line here and a line here, and then I'm going to select my garage wall, trim a hole and join with J. Then I'm going to go to my doors layer, lock the garage layer, and I'm going to draw a line here and a line here. And using the arc command, I'll say that the center is here, and I will write 90 centimeters and make an arc up there and a line going up to that. And then I'll say arc, go from the other side, 50 centimeters up there, line there, and then I will select these two and join, select these two and join, escape. All right, I think that's most of the plan done. Let's just have a look without the background image. Okay, so now we have a quite basic architectural plan drawing. Of course, we're not showing where the kitchen is or where the toilet is and all kinds of different details that we could add, but I think this is a pretty good base. And if you've been able to follow along so far, you can already draw your own plan drawings of your designs. Now, there's so many ways we could go from here. We could start drawing the furniture. We could start drawing all the surfaces and pavements. We could put in symbols. We could put in measurements. Basically everything that makes an architectural drawing. But I think that if you followed along so far, you're not an absolute beginner in Rhino anymore. Actually, you've done quite a lot of things. Now, I'll end this small tutorial series now, but I actually encourage you to go back to our drawing and then start drawing the top floor, start drawing the kitchen and the bedrooms, and maybe even drawing an elevation or a section. In coming tutorials, I'll show you how to export your line work to Adobe Illustrator so you can pimp your drawing that way. And I'll show you how to print a very simple drawing in Rhino. And then I think it's also pretty good to get started with 3D modeling. So that will definitely also be a subject for a future tutorial. But what do you want to know? Please leave a comment under this video and tell me what you need to know to get better at Rhino. Thank you so much for following this series. I hope that you learned something. And I really hope that you'll subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.